Hello, and welcome to session 6 of our series on parenting during the primary years. In each session, we cover topics which are relevant to parenting children of all ages, but with a particular focus on children aged 5 to 11. In this session, we will be looking at the importance of time for yourself, communication, handling conflict, family traditions. Families work best when everyone's needs are met. This means that we must meet our own needs as well as our children's. We parent better when we are relaxed, content, and happy. If we are stressed, tired, and unhappy, we will struggle to meet our children's needs and struggle to nurture and parent them effectively. What would you do if a good friend or relative offered to have your child or children for you for an afternoon? You might go swimming, you might meet friends for a coffee, or you might just have a nap. If you went out, how do you think you might feel when you got back home? Would you be pleased to be home? Would you feel relaxed and happy? Or would you feel guilty? You might find you feel more able to cope. When we feel happier and more relaxed, we are more able to give and are less self-occupied. We gain, and so will our children and family. If our emotional bank account has some credit, for example, if we feel happy and relaxed, then we are more able to cope with the emotional expenditure or the demands of parenting. In other words, if we feel happy and relaxed ourselves, it is easier to cope with all the demands on us as parents. Even if we could just take 10 minutes every day for ourselves, we would feel more able to be a better parent. What would you do if you had 10 minutes each day to yourself? You could try this week and note any differences or changes it makes to yourself and how your family interacts. If you have a partner, it's also important to try to get some together time. This might only happen once a month or maybe even more infrequently, but try to fit it in if you can. Spending time working on your relationship is really important. Communication is very important too, not just between ourselves and our children, but also with our wider family and friends too. It's vital to our own well-being that we get a chance to talk, and not just about parenting issues, but about other things too. It's also important for us to take time to listen to others. Find time to listen to someone else talk. Again, not just about parenting issues, but about other things too. It's essential that we get a chance to talk about our feelings. If you are parenting on your own, what about talking to a good friend or another family member? We all need to have a chance to have a normal adult conversation and not just talk to our children. When we are parenting, it's so easy to be caught up in the demands of day-to-day living that we struggle to find time and energy to communicate effectively. Using a model called I messages is one way that can help us communicate our feelings effectively. It can be used when we are talking to our children, but it is also helpful when talking to other adults. We could also teach this model to our children as it will help them to communicate effectively with friends, siblings, teachers, and ourselves. When, I feel, and because are key prompts you can use. For example, when I find your clothes all over the floor, I feel upset because I asked you to tidy them away. Or when I don't get any help with the children, I feel upset and cross because I need support and help. You could add an extra sentence to this tool. Would you be willing to? This would enable us to clearly state how we would like the situation to be sorted out. For example, when I find your clothes all over the floor, I feel upset because I asked you to tidy them away. Would you be willing to tidy them away now? Conflict is inevitable in families. A simple definition of conflict is not agreeing on an issue. We can have conflict over what TV program to watch, who does the washing up, how the washing up is done, cleaning out the pets, homework, bedtimes. The list could go on. Most family conflict is normal, temporary, and even necessary, but how we handle it is important, and handling it well can make life so much better. People have different styles when it comes to dealing with conflict. Here are some of the main ones and the effects that they have. Think about how you deal with conflict and see if you can recognize yourself in any of these. The first one is a bull in a china shop, or aggressive. When this person sees a problem, they charge in with all guns blazing. They don't want to hear the other person's side of the story. They always feel that they are right and like to have the last word. In this case, family relationships will probably suffer and the conflict will probably get worse. The next style is anything for a quiet life, or passive. This person hopes problems will go away by themselves. They hate confrontations and hassles, and they will not challenge unacceptable or risky behaviour in others. They might be seen as a bit of a doormat. The next type is the silent cedar, or passive-aggressive. These people pretend they don't mind something when it's obvious that they do. If you ask what's wrong, they'll often reply, often crossly, nothing. They show their true feelings by creating an atmosphere, for example, by slamming doors and sighing. Lastly, assertive. People who are assertive in the way they deal with conflict will speak out clearly and calmly when they have concerns. They are willing to face temporary difficulties in order to sort out issues. They try to understand other people's points of view. They are willing to negotiate and they choose their battles. How did your family handle conflict when you were a child? Which style of handling conflict do you most relate to? Here are some do's and don'ts that might be helpful when handling conflict in your family. Don't attack who somebody is. Don't compare people. Don't exaggerate. Don't trivialize. Don't avoid discussion. Do stick to the present issue. And do try to find creative solutions that take people's different viewpoints into account. Try to cut each other a little slack at times of particular stress. Do remember that sometimes we need to say sorry and focus on developing trust. Here are some other principles for handling conflict. These apply whether it's your partner, your child, other members of the family, or friends. Try to pick your battles and be prepared to compromise. Don't nitpick or pick up on every little thing. Ask yourself, why is this such a big deal for me? Realize that having high expectations of others is unrealistic. They are usually not fulfilled, and as a result, we can become critical or nagging. Do we need to lower our expectations to become more realistic? In every relationship, there is a need to compromise. There are times when we need to address our children's behaviour, but before we do that, we need to ask ourselves some key questions. Are my emotions running high? And is there a better time to address this when I'm calmer? Is this issue really important? When I look at the facts, is my anger or the way I feel justified? And how can I help find a solution? Let's think now about family traditions. What do you hope your family will be like? Do you want a happy family, a loving family, healthy, friendly, supportive, and welcoming? How important is it to feel connected as a family? How can we build a sense of family? And how can we build a strong family? Traditions are a valuable way to create strong, lasting memories and to create a connected family. If you ask adults what positive memories they have of their childhood, the reply often starts with, we used to, or we always. Family traditions are repeating events or things that we do. They don't have to be set in stone and never changed, but could be for a period of time or just a season. Do you have any memories of family traditions? Traditions create a sense of belonging and connectedness, forging strong bonds. Traditions, simple or profound, say you belong here, these are your roots. In our society, feelings of isolation can be a real problem, so it's important to create strong family ties and traditions that will help us feel connected. What traditions would you like to build in your family? Families are important and valuable. We need to do all we can to keep them strong, stable, and loving. A vision statement could be a good way of working out what is important to you as a family and keeping your identity as a family unit. For example, you could say things like we will, we won't, or we hope that. We will demonstrate our love to each other through words and actions. We will be polite. We will consider each other's feelings. We won't shout at each other. We won't go to bed angry. We will build family traditions and memories. We will listen to each other. And we will try to share a story at bedtime together while the children are young. Have a think about these suggestions. Maybe you could even try writing your own family vision statement this week.
Let's reflect on what we've looked at in this session. We have considered the importance of our own needs, time for ourselves, and the impact that this has on our children. We have identified achievable ways to make time for ourselves. We have identified ways to communicate effectively. We have looked at our response to conflict. We have discovered that although conflict is normal and necessary, how we handle it is important. We have seen how family traditions are valuable in building a strong sense of family. We have considered our own family values and drawn up a family vision statement.
We hope you have found these sessions interesting and useful. Please follow the link below for any further resources you might want to look at. Thanks for watching.